I just made up that story just for today's content. But maybe there's some truth in that. It's for you to decide. So, welcome to Saturday's vlog. Thank you for being patient with me all week, and many people have joined in every single day, which I can't tell you how much that means to me. So, thank you very much for being loyal. I really appreciate that, and it is really helping the analytics go higher than what I've seen them go for a long time. So, I feel absolutely blessed for that. So, thank you very much for joining in. Now, today is Saturday. Saturday, I decided would be kind of a mashup of me reviewing old footage, or for me to take the best moments of a certain situation and putting them all together into one nice, fairly long, not too short video. Last week I did the amount of times I got stuck, and I really enjoyed making that video. Putting all that content back together and actually watching it through again was just bringing back some of the best memories that I have of that time. And I know the next time I do a video like that, it will be the best time reminders again. So there isn't always a best time. It's just the best time in that moment. Now, this week, what I wanted to do was put together a video of all the times I'd had serious mechanical breakdowns and that I ended up on the back of a recovery truck, and see how long I can make the video. I have had my fair share of my troubles, my breakdowns, and more than my fair share of being on the back of a recovery truck. You have to bear with me. This is still my first coffee. In fact, I haven't had any of this yet, because I've changed the way that I do certain things. Now, it used to be very easy for me to wake up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, smash out a coffee first of all, and then try and get on with the day. And I say try because I can't remember if I was trying or not trying. I probably wasn't trying. I'm trying more today because I'm actually up. It's a fair bit later. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, but I have my coffee in hand and I'm doing work. I am working now. I'm working on the channel. But I've changed the way that I drink coffee. Now, I'm an early riser. I rise anytime between 5:30 and 7 in the morning, naturally, most mornings without setting any kind of alarm. I've managed to do this over the last maybe month and a half. And it is that incredible that when I get to 11 o'clock at night, I'm that exhausted and that depleted, I have to just sleep. I don't really have a choice. I have to lie down and close my eyes and go and visit the fairies in my fantasy world. And because of that, naturally, I've been waking up earlier and earlier and earlier. I have a story actually to talk about waking up early. Maybe I'll leave that for another video, because an odd thing's happening with me in the mornings, a very strange thing. I will leave that. I want this one to be a different kind of video. So back to the coffee. So back to me changing the habits with the coffee. So when you wake up in the morning and the light hits the back of your eyes, you release all sorts of chemicals into your brain and different kind of hormones. Now, cortisol, I think it's called cortisol, is the chemical that actually makes you feel awake, and the coffee can kind of suppress it. It kind of hides it for a little while. So what you should be doing, or what I'm doing, is, you can do whatever you want to do, is I'm waking up, I'm letting my body wake itself up naturally. When I feel that little bit of depletion coming, it's not even depletion, it's the craving for me. Then I get the coffee and I'm still holding it. So yes, this is my first sip of my coffee this morning. And it's a lovely temperature. Right. Anyway, so the video collaboration thing or the video montage or the compilation that I was going to put together did not happen because this week's been chaotic, and chaotic in a good way. It hasn't gone as I wanted it to. In fact, it went 10, 20 times better than what I wanted it to, which was perfect for me. A few people did send me messages concerned that I spent my birthday alone. I did spend my birthday alone. I enjoy my alone time. When you're on your own, you have none of the dramas of the world. There is nobody there to tell you what you can and can't do. I don't have to answer anyone or join into conversations that, quite frankly, the conversations that are just wasting my time. I don't want to go out with a group of friends and people sing happy birthday to me around the table. I'm not interested in that. I do it my way. And my way was I did most of the day myself. When I felt confident, I posted on the internet that today's my birthday, and that was the better way for me, because then there was no pressure for me to smile at anyone. There was no pressure for me to answer anyone, which I did. I answered everybody, and I do thank everyone for that. Don't be concerned. I'm the kind of person that if I want to go out for a meal, which is very, very rare that I do actually go out, but I do sometimes want to go out for a meal, I'm quite happy to go to a restaurant on my own, sit on my own, order food on my own, and enjoy myself on my own before I leave on my own. I have no problem with that. I've never had an issue with that. I've never seen a problem with that. And I don't know why that would be an issue for anybody else. Like, I'm very, very content and happy in my own company. This is why you never really see that many people in my videos. I have friends, believe it or not. There is people around me that I care dearly about. But I don't need people in my life all the time. I don't always need the company. Sometimes it's just nice just to sit. I can look out at the nature, enjoy my morning coffee without anyone asking me any questions that I don't want to answer. So, I've ranted on a little bit now, but what I want to talk about this morning is something very strange that happens to me often, and I fail to see how often these things happen until I go back to childhood memories. Now, things that happen around us and things that happen in our brains when we are young it's incredible. Now, them first few years on the planet in the physical form that we are today, we have incredible imaginations. And this is why I probably don't mind spending my time alone. You see, my parents they really did believe at one point, for a short while, because they seen the truth, that I had an imaginary friend, which is not uncommon for children, and it's not weird. There's no problem with that. If you have children and your children have imaginary friends, don't discourage it. Like, you don't have to encourage it if it's not something you believe in, but don't discourage it. Just let them be. So I used to have what I called the bubble. Now, the bubble was kind of like a Casper head. So you imagine Casper, the friendly ghost. Just imagine the head, but no facial features, just a bubble. Now, this bubble used to come and visit me probably most nights. And yeah, I used to tell it every worry that I had. And I couldn't have been any older than 5 years old. Maybe I was a little bit older. Maybe if I was, I would be a smidgen over. And I used to speak to this bubble every single night. And I used to tell this bubble my worries. I used to tell this about my problems at school. I used to tell it what I wanted for my birthday, what I would like for my Christmas. Quite handy for my parents, because sometimes they would sit at the top of the stairs and listen to me talking to my so-called imaginary friend. Now, as time went on, my parents approached me about this. And I remember a lot of my past, my history, my childhood. I even remember stuff that probably didn't even happen in this version of my life. And I know that makes me sound crazy, but bear with me. I will speak about these things in future videos. So I was asked about my imaginary friend, my bubble, and basically my parents couldn't see it. And I couldn't understand why. I used to say, if you turn off the light, can you see it now? And they'd turn the bedroom light off, they can't see it. They'd turn the light on, I'll say, I can't see it with the light on, but it's here. Turn the light off, look, it's there. They'd never see it. Now, I don't know how I stopped speaking to my imaginary friend, or my bubble, but something, yeah, something just changed. Maybe my brain was working in a different way. Maybe there was more distractions. Maybe I wasn't as stressed or as tense. And maybe I didn't need that imaginary friend. At the time, my bedroom was at the back of the house and it was decorated in Thomas the Tank. Wallpaper had Thomas the Tank bedding, Thomas the Tank curtains up on the windows. And yeah, it was my little Thomas the Tank room. And because I was coming up to a different age and different mindset, I was no longer interested in Thomas the Tank. I'm still interested in Thomas the Tank, the original ones though. I've got all the books. I've got all the books at my parents' house, all the little books in boxes. They've never been opened, and I've had them for forever, forever. So we decorated the bedroom. I say we as a collective, we as normally just my mother and father, but mainly probably just my mother because my father would have been out working and earning the bread for the table. So they changed the bedroom round for me and we went for, I think it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the bedding, with the curtains, wallpaper, all the rest. My bedroom had only just been finished. I just moved back into the bedroom. My bubble friend come to see me again. But this time, my bubble friend scared the life out of me. And honestly, I can feel the feeling even now, running through my spine, the back of my neck, all the way. I can feel the pressure. I can feel how it felt like to be in that moment. Now, the bubble now wasn't just the Casper's head. The bubble was the entire room, and it was pushing me towards my bed, if that makes sense. So before the bubble was like this, and now the bubble was squirrels all the way around the furnishings and myself in the bedroom. I panicked. I screamed. I ran through to my parents' room, and I said that the bubble had woken me up. The bubble has told me to get out of the bedroom. The bubble has told me to get out of bedroom. Good parents, very good parents, very understanding that I've maybe had a nightmare, maybe I've got some night terrors. They offer me the comfort that I need right there and then. My mum comes to give me some loves, and my top half is completely soaking. I am wet through. I am dripping, and I don't just mean I'm wet. I mean you could pick up a t-shirt, put it in a bath, and bring a t-shirt out. I was this kind of wet, but only my top half. My bottoms were dry. So it became quite apparent to my mum that I hadn't wet myself. I didn't wee the bed. I hadn't had an incident, so to speak. So my mum, being really confused, asked my dad to go and see why the hell I'm soaking wet. Have I been playing with the sink? Did I try and get a glass of water and splashed it all over me? So my dad, probably unwillingly at this time in the morning, getting out of bed to go and see what problems that Marty had caused and why the hell he was wet all the way through. Now, my dad opened my bedroom door, and before my dad could open the door completely, my bedroom roof fell in all over my bed. All over my bed. I wouldn't be here. I would have been crushed completely. And if I wouldn't be crushed, I would have been, I don't know, I would have been that young. Maybe this much material coming from the house would have killed me. Like, this is a possibility that could have happened. How did I know to get out? Why was it the bubble? Did I imaginary this? Was this just in my brain? Was just something that had happened to me and I'd fabricated up a story? And this story has always stuck with me. Then I speak to my parents about the story, and they remember everything that I tell them, and they know their side of it, which fills in the gaps on my side of it, which is my dad going into the bedroom, the roof falling in. I remember we had to move out of the house. We had to have the roof redone. It turned out that over time there was a leak in the roof. Story of my life, you see. These are the things that I really want to bring to the world and show. I'm seeing everything in a different way. We live in patterns, we live in cycles. I think that I'm living the same life, just a different version of me each time. And it sounds like I'm on drugs, okay? It sounds like I'm crazy. And maybe I am crazy, but I'm not on drugs. I'm seeing so much water, leaks, dripping, wet. This is something in my life that is a reoccurring thing, and I need to know how to change this. I didn't make this story up in my head. This story can be backed up by anybody that knows my family. We had to move out the house for the house to be rebuilt, or at least for the roof to be rebuilt. The roof had been leaking for years and years and years, and previous owners had put pans and teacups and saucers and all sorts up there. Obviously, they'd become full through a heavy storm that we had, and it filled up the lining that was in the loft itself, like the rubber kind of matting or whatever you call it. I mean, this would have been very, very, very early 90s. No, it wouldn't have. Yeah, it would have. It would have been very early 90s. Oh, wow, I feel old. And just the accumulation of the weight being built up on the attic floor or the ceiling of my bedroom was enough for it to come down. I kid you not when I tell you these stories, and this is why I really want to start sharing more of the strange things that have happened to me. Just maybe I got someone looking over me.